book friends, this is Kat and welcome back to my channel. I am pre-filming today, that's why you see my cute little flamingos again. So I have my March wrap up and I have my little book to go through, and if you follow me on Instagram or even just see my shorts, I usually put like my spreads and I showcase that usually at the beginning of the month, what they look like beforehand. Anyway, I have read 6 books for the month of March. So that's kind of the sweet spot for me, 6 books. I did get sick earlier on in March, so I felt like I could have read maybe one more book in there, but usually this is around my sweet spot. So the ratings for this month, I only had 1 DNF, but the other ratings were pretty good. So 1 DNF, 3 4 stars, and 2 5 stars. So pretty good month. And I will say right now, there is a book that I did not finish. Okay, I had to get the book. And that was Little Women. I did not finish it. I am currently in time of filming at page 82. So if you saw my TBR game, I did roll backwards for this. And I will say that I am continuing this book for the month of April. It's just going a little slow for me just because I find that it's not really a plot. It's a lot of character driven work, but they're written as if they're like short independent stories. And I was just not in the mood much in March to read a lot of like shorter stories, I guess. There were other books that I was just more interested in because of plot wise. So, and plus, classics are pretty hard for me to read at a fast pace. So, I found that I was in the more mood for something quick and easy. And so that's why I didn't complete this book. So hopefully I will complete this in April. So far, my thoughts about it is I like the sister dynamic with the book, and I think that the sisters all have like different personalities all remind me of like me and my sisters. There's like 4 of us, and I'm the oldest. So I definitely see some personalities in here that kind of remind me of my relationship with my sisters. And I think that's a cool parallel in there. But I don't really have much to say more about the book except that, it's a slower read for me right now, but I am enjoying like pulling out the little like extra letters in here. So the extra, what was it called? Mediums, I guess is what you would call them. And so using that to help get immersed in the story. So anyway, that's where I'm at with Little Women, and hopefully I will have I will finish it in April and kind of give more of my thoughts on it. So, but okay, the next book I am going to talk about these DNF, and this book is Unbirthday by Liz Braswell. I had put this on my TBR based off of the Chantel's Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, and unfortunately it was just not my cup of tea. I did do a reading vlog. This was in the Backlist Readathon vlog that I did do, and so if you want to hear more of my thoughts through the book, go check out that video. It will be linked in my playlist for vlogs. And Yep, unfortunately was not my favorite. But after that, I did have 3 4-stars. So the first 4-star, I also have a picture because it is a NetGalley book, and it's Indigo Isle by T.I. Lowell. And I did like this book a lot. I also did a book review to give, again, more of my thoughts on it. But this is definitely an author that I will continue to read from. And looking on her site, I noticed that she has, I guess they're called like book study boxes, and it was interesting that to see that she has like this kind of like these ideas of like when you read the book, and if you decide to host a book study over her book, there's like recipes that you could do from like I guess the book, or a playlist of songs you could play during the book study, and everything is like related to that book. So that was really cool, and it's inspired me to want to use one of those for hopefully a good book study that I will be doing in the summer. So if you didn't know about that, check out her website. She has those, and maybe that's something you can use for your book studies. And I think it would be really fun just being immersed into the book. So, and being able to do discussions over it. So anyway, the next 4-star I had was The Mistletoe Countess by Pepper Basham. This was part of my TBR game, and I heard this one on audio, and I really liked the audio book of it. I will say that I'm not I've kind of figured out through listening to cozy mysteries. I guess I'm trying to figure out if I like cozy mysteries or not, because I didn't particularly liked one of the cozy mysteries that I did a vlog on, and the one 2-part sugar, 1-part murder, and I get the title mixed up, but it's by Valerie Burns, and I didn't particularly like that one, but I liked this one, and I liked the Jane Austen murder series cozy mystery. So I guess there's just certain ones that I'm kind of not, I just don't really enjoy as much. So this one is about a woman who takes her sister's place in this arranged marriage, and she marries a count, or I guess, yeah, because she's a countess, and it's just their love story, and then there's a mystery that's involved in it, and they learn to fall in love with each other, and I thought that it was enduring with how they pursued each other, and they had some faith elements in it, and I really liked a lot of how they talk about what love was, and it talked about how like God pairs two people, and how when conflict arises, how to work through that. And parts that I wasn't so crazy about, probably her naiveness in it, and I know this it was mentioned before from other booktubers about maybe how naive she was written like as a character, but there were definitely some times where I felt like a little uncomfortable, I guess, with how they were displaying love for each other, at least listening to it. I guess maybe if I was reading it, it would be easy for me to kind of skim through. Everything was closed door, and I think it just comes down to like how comfortable you are reading about maybe just their relationship as far as being intimate with each other. And so to me, it felt like it was a little uncomfortable for me to listen to, and maybe reading it I could just skim through, but again, it's all closed door and it doesn't go into too much detail. So I think another part bugged me a little bit that he knew both sisters, and I guess instead of marrying one sister, he married the younger sister, and then all that ensues from there, was because in her mind she's just like, this is my brother-in-law, this will be my brother-in-law, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, it's, you know, actually my husband. So I don't know, it was just kind of, for me, I didn't really care much for that, and that's minute. It's still a great story. It's still one that does transport you to me, it transported me to a great atmosphere of like a Christmas atmosphere in Europe, and it was very entertaining in some other things, but I would recommend if you enjoy cozy mysteries, and it's got a faith element to it. And the mystery was pretty good too. Just trying to figure it out. I didn't even try. I was just reading to read. So I guess I'm not one of those serious, I want to figure it out. I was just listening and enjoying the story. All right, the other 4-star is Hidden Agenda by Lisa Harris. And this was part of my Backlist Readathon vlog, and everything is, all my thoughts are in there about it. It is a third in the series, so I have finished her Southern Crime series, and it was a nice ending. It was a fast read, and I am looking at her other books to see what else I might be interested in. So if you like thrillers, if you like a mystery element, and there is some faith content in it as well, I would recommend her books. Okay, for my 2 5-stars, one of them is C.S. Lewis's book, The Silver Chair, and this is number 6 in the chronological timeline of the Narnia series, and I loved it. I was very pleased with the audio, the narrator of the audiobook. The narrator did a great job, and I mean, in that story, you know, you follow characters that you met in the previous book, and they go on their adventure, and the different allegories again is what I look for. And I would say it was a little more dark, and it's not like super dark, but it was it had a little much more of a dark feel to it. And man, just again, I really love when the lion comes in, like Aslan comes in, and when he speaks, because it's just so like profound, like with the wisdom, and just, he's supposed to allude to God. And so a lot of the things that he talks to the children or to the characters, it's very like as if God is speaking, you know, to you. And it's all about signs, like the signs that are given to you, or like when he gives you instruction and, you know, you have to remember it or repeat it. And a lot of times we feel like we fail, you know, you're on the straight and narrow, and then you turn because you are driven by your own desires, your own flesh, and how you felt like you messed up God's plan. There's no way he can redeem it, and yet he does. And it's just beautiful, like how God does that. And like, that's true. Like, God calls us to be obedient, but even in the times that we fail, he still covers it all, and he will make it right. Nothing can thwart his plan. I loved it. It's probably tied for my favorite so far. My favorite one was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but this one is definitely one of my favorites in the series. The 2 kids in here, they grow so much. They're considered baby Christians, or even just slowly walking out into their faith. So it was great to see a different like type of perspective. And I guess that's what The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was. It was redemptive purposes for Edmund, and this one was for two different children. And anyway, 5 stars. And then the last one, I actually have a physical book for this one because I didn't turn it in yet, and I actually just finished it today. Is Boo by Renee Gutteridge, and technically today is the 1st of April. So, but I finished this book, and I wanted to include it in my March wrap up because I started it in March. So, man, this book is funny. I would recommend it. I know Katie's talked a lot about it in her channel, and I agree with her 100%. I mean, she's recommended it. I wanted to give it a try, and I'm so glad I did. I already have the second book with me, and I laughed out loud with this. Again, this is about a new Christian, a new life. So I guess that's the theme I like. It's just like a new Christian, new life, but we all, it's like you put your old self away and you pick up the new man, you know? So, and I'm sure you've heard the synopsis about this, but you know, Boo is about a man who was a horror novelist, and he finds God, he converts to Christianity. He really wants to seek God, and the town that he lives in doesn't want that because he made their town famous by writing horror novels. And the town even themed itself around these horror novels. So they're trying to make him backslide or not take God so seriously to where he can write horror novels. And there are a lot of characters in here. Each character struggles with their own thing. Each character, I felt really did have like their own personality to where they didn't blend all together. Like sometimes some books, some characters do tend to blend. I felt like everyone here had enough distinctions to where I could tell who is who. But it was a book that caused me to think, because this book also talks about Christians, like people who say they're Christians, but they either backslide or they basically just go to church, call themselves Christians, but then on the other 6 days of the week, they don't walk that out. And I know that I know that everyone's perfect, and I know that, you know, each day you have to walk in that discipline. But I guess seeing it in a very fictionalized way, it made me think like, okay, am I walking what I'm being told, like being preached about, or what I'm learning, you know? And so it basically just made me think of myself, not people in general, but just for me. How am I showing God's love, and how is that reaching the world? It caused me to think, and I believe that's what Renee was trying to do, to where she causes her readers to think, as well as just having fun reading it. You know, it's not one of those where it's so theological to where you're just like, okay, I have to take a few chapters at a time. It was a nice, easy read, but it also was a very like thought provoking, at least for me. And I love when a book does that, especially from a Christian author. And I can't wait to see her other books in the series. So this probably is my favorite of the month. But yeah, that is my March wrap up. And I know I kind of got a little rambly with some of them, but I wanted to share my thoughts a little bit more instead of just rates, pros and cons. But I wanted to share a little more with you guys out there. So anyway, have you read any of these books? Are you, I don't know, is there a book out there that really caused you to think a lot like Boo did for me? Just having those thought-provoking moments that you find in a fiction book to where it might even just change your viewpoint on, I don't know, just how you're living? I know that's a deep question, but I would love to know. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.